In a world often divided by differences, voices that unite and inspire hold the power to create lasting change. Tiffany Trump, stepping beyond her public persona, emerged as a beacon of hope and allyship for the LGBTQ+ community. Through heartfelt stories and unwavering advocacy, she championed inclusion, equality, and the unyielding belief that everyone deserves to live authentically. This is a story of empathy, resilience, and the profound impact of standing up for what's right. Let me know which country or city you are watching from, and don't forget to subscribe, as tomorrow we will come up with another inspiring story just for you. Tiffany Ariana Trump stood confidently on the stage in Tampa, Florida, addressing a large audience filled with members of the LGBTQ+ community. The event, organized by Trump Pride, marked one of the rare occasions when Tiffany stepped into the political spotlight alone. Yet, as she began to speak, her voice was clear and resolute, carrying a message of deep empathy and support. Before my father entered politics, he supported the LGBTQ+ community, Tiffany began. He believes in the right of every individual to live freely and authentically. That has not changed, and today I'm here to reaffirm his commitment to your rights and to express my personal admiration for your resilience. These words were not merely a political statement. They reflected what Tiffany had witnessed and felt throughout her journey. She recounted stories that had profoundly impacted her, such as the case of Alex, a talented artist who had been disowned by his family simply because he was gay. Alex once told me that all he wanted was to live as his true self without judgment. Those words left a deep impression on me, Tiffany shared with the crowd, her eyes shining with sincerity. She continued with the story of Michelle, a young woman who had to leave school due to discrimination after coming out about her sexual orientation. Michelle had written a letter to Tiffany, sharing that she felt ostracized and lonely, but still hoped that someone out there was listening. Tiffany kept that letter as a reminder that even small actions can lead to significant change. "These are not just isolated stories," Tiffany said, her voice trembling with emotion. "These are millions of people out there yearning for respect, love, and the freedom to live lives unshackled by prejudice. You are not just a community, you are an indispensable part of this society." She emphasized that LGBTQ+ rights should not be seen as a privilege, but as a fundamental right of all citizens. "We need a world where no one has to live in fear of being who they truly are. We need a society where you are not only accepted but loved and cherished just like anyone else," she said, her determined gaze sweeping over the audience. The crowd listened in a reverent, emotional silence before erupting into thunderous applause. A young man in the audience, tears streaming down his face, shouted, "Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you for hearing us." In those moments, Tiffany realized that her role was not merely that of a speaker. She was a voice, a beacon of hope, a lighthouse in the turbulent sea of prejudice and discrimination. Despite the criticism she knew she would face, Tiffany was determined to use every platform at her disposal to advance fairness and inclusivity. Tiffany's journey toward the LGBTQ+ community was neither an easy path nor one paved with light. It began with small steps, with stories she heard, and with friends who reshaped her perspective. One of those friends was Danny, a high school peer who once desperately sought acceptance from his family and society. Danny, his voice trembling, once shared with Tiffany, "I just want to be myself without fearing rejection. I just want to know that I am worthy of love like anyone else." Those words left Tiffany speechless. She realized that acceptance was not just a fundamental human right, but also a critical factor in an individual's mental health and sense of self-worth. Tiffany didn't just listen, she acted. She began spending time visiting LGBTQ+ support centers, where she met young people like Jamie, a transgender boy fighting to have his true identity recognized at school. Jamie wrote a poem for Tiffany, filled with pain yet brimming with hope. "If I can survive the darkness, I know the light will welcome me." Every story Tiffany heard became a piece of a larger mosaic, painting a vivid picture of the challenges and dreams of the LGBTQ+ community. She understood that driving change required not only listening but also taking action to ensure their voices reached those in positions of power. Tiffany did not shy away from confronting conservative leaders within her father's administration. "I cannot stay silent when so many people are suffering because of unfair policies," she said during a private meeting. "They are citizens of this country, and they deserve to be treated equally, just like anyone else." Her efforts gradually began to affect change, not just within her family, but also in how the administration viewed policies related to LGBTQ+ rights. She became a bridge between the marginalized and the powerful, a symbol of compassion and determination in a divided world. Once, Tiffany was invited to speak at an event for LGBTQ+ teens at a high school. There, she met Luke, a young man ostracized by his peers for coming out as gay. Luke shared, "I feel like I don't belong in this world. But hearing you speak made me realize that I have the right to dream and to live as my authentic self." Tiffany didn't stop at words of encouragement. She advocated for Luke's school to implement strict anti-bullying policies and organized workshops on social inclusion. Luke's story became a testament to the impact of compassion and perseverance. Tiffany also shared another moving story about a woman named Sarah, who had to give up her dream job because her colleagues wouldn't accept her as a lesbian. Sarah once said, "I loved my work, but I couldn't stay when every day was filled with prejudice. I wish I could be treated as a human being, not as someone to be judged." Sarah's story inspired Tiffany to urge businesses to transform workplace cultures and create environments where everyone could live authentically. Tiffany also collaborated with psychologists to host workshops for parents of LGBTQ+ children. During one session, Jane, the mother of a gay son, shared, "I spent so much time struggling to accept my child, but thanks to Tiffany's programs, I've realized that unconditional love is the greatest gift I can give him." Tiffany didn't stop there. She pushed social organizations to support the LGBTQ+ community through education and life skills training programs. "We don't just want to listen, we need to act," Tiffany stated during a press conference in New York. These small steps became the foundation for profound change. The commitment of power, when a president acts for justice. Under Tiffany's vigorous advocacy, President Donald Trump went beyond mere declarations. He initiated a series of meetings with leading LGBTQ+ organizations, listening to their demands and concerns. For the first time, he publicly pledged that the rights of the LGBTQ+ community would be protected under federal law. In a press conference held in his home state, the president announced, "We cannot build a great America without ensuring that every citizen is treated equally. I commit to signing laws that protect the rights of the LGBTQ+ community, including shielding them from discrimination in education, employment, and healthcare." This pledge was not mere rhetoric. The new administration began revising labor rights policies to ensure that no one could be fired or denied employment because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. The ban on transgender individuals serving in the military was also reversed, opening the door for all capable citizens to serve their country. Tiffany stood beside her father during these declarations, her eyes reflecting pride. "These are necessary steps toward a more just society," she said in an interview afterward. "I believe my father's actions will inspire other leaders worldwide." To realize this commitment, several LGBTQ+ organizations were invited to participate in the policymaking process. This ensured that all voices from the community were heard and respected. "I never thought this day would come," shared a representative from an LGBTQ+ organization. "But thanks to Tiffany and her father, we feel genuine hope." Another significant milestone was President Trump's announcement of a fund to support diversity and inclusion education programs in public schools. These grants not only aimed to increase awareness, but also to provide a safe and free environment for LGBTQ+ students to express themselves. These measures marked a transformation in an administration previously criticized for its lack of sensitivity towards social issues. The following months saw Tiffany dedicate herself passionately to a nationwide campaign for equality. She didn't stop at political statements. Instead, she became deeply involved in practical community projects. She collaborated with schools to integrate tolerance and inclusion education into their curriculums. She visited LGBTQ+ support centers across the United States, meeting and listening to countless stories of pain yet filled with hope. One of the most touching stories was that of Ethan, a teenage boy bullied for being gay. Ethan sent a letter to Tiffany, sharing how the new policies and President Trump's commitments had given him hope. "Miss Tiffany, you saved my life. Because of you and your father, I know I'm not alone." Tiffany didn't just read the letter, she decided to meet Ethan at a public event. Hugging him tightly in front of hundreds of people, she said, "Ethan, you're not just brave, you are living proof that love and acceptance can change the world." Tiffany also launched a social media campaign titled "Every Story Eyes a Light," inviting the LGBTQ+ community to share their personal stories of struggle and hope. The campaign garnered thousands of submissions, including posts, videos, and images, spreading a message of positivity not only in the US but globally. To amplify the impact, Tiffany began hosting workshops with leaders of major corporations. She urged them not only to foster LGBTQ+-friendly workplaces, but to genuinely invest in initiatives that support their LGBTQ+ employees. As a result, numerous companies began implementing inclusive policies, from providing healthcare support for transgender employees to diversity training for their workforce. But Tiffany's efforts didn't stop there. She partnered with non-profit organizations to establish free psychological support centers for the LGBTQ+ community. These centers offered therapy and life skills training, helping young individuals build confidence for their future. Tiffany also championed the inclusion of gender diversity and sexual orientation topics in school curricula. The first educational books distributed to schools received overwhelming support from teachers and parents. "Education is the key to breaking down prejudice," Tiffany stated in a national television interview. In addition, she organized workshops to guide educators on creating safe and inclusive school environments. These programs not only helped reduce bullying but also provided LGBTQ+ students with the confidence to embrace their true selves. As changes began to materialize from educational reforms to legislative actions, Tiffany and her father forged a powerful legacy of inclusion and justice. They didn't just transform the lives of individuals like Ethan but also opened the door to a brighter future for millions. Tiffany continued to inspire through forums, campaigns, and community projects. She believed that real change could not come from a single individual or policy, but required the collective effort of society. "The future we are building is one where no one is left behind," she concluded in a final heartfelt speech. Furthermore, Tiffany launched a global campaign called The Light of Unity, encouraging the international community to take action together. With every step, Tiffany demonstrated that love and compassion could serve as the foundation for sustainable and equitable societal transformation. If this story has touched your heart, we'd love for you to share its message by clicking like and sharing it with your friends. Help us reach our first milestone of 1,000 subscribers. It truly means the world to us and will allow us to create more meaningful stories just for you. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next story.